So I'm going to be doing an in-depth breakdown of a fight. Probably people weren't expecting an in-depth breakdown on, but I'm really hyped for this fight. Uh, Specifically, I'm only really hyped for this fight because of one man, and that man is Roman Kopylov. All respect to Josh Fremd, but I don't really, I'm not really hyped for this fight because of him. I'm hyped for this fight because I think Roman Kopylov is a really good fighter. Obviously, he had a rough go of things in his UFC debut. Losing to Kyle Robeson's not always a good look. But he's really improved a lot since that Kyle Robeson loss. And it's the middleweight division. You're allowed to have weird losses at middleweight. In other divisions, no, you're not allowed to have weird losses like this. But at middleweight, you could lose to Sam Alvey and still go on to fight in the top five. I mean, even look at light heavyweight. Marcin Prachnio lost to fucking Sam Alvey, and he's had some decent wins since then. He beat Khalil Roundtree after losing to Sam Alvey, and now Khalil Roundtree's a top 10 light heavyweight. He's in that. I think he's top 10, or at the very least, he's top 15. So, in these higher weight divisions, these weird losses really don't mean shit. But to get into the fight itself, obviously in this fight, I'm going with Roman Kopylov here. But I do think that first round is going to be a bit dicey for Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov, it's a weird thing he has, and this is why I think of him so much like the middleweight Peter Yan. Peter Yan. I don't know why I said it like that. I see him a lot like it, not just because he looks like a big Peter Yan, but he fights like Peter Yan, and also he's a slow starter like Peter Yan as well. You're not going to go in, you're rarely going to see Roman Kopylov go in there and blast through someone in the first round. It doesn't happen. I think maybe he's got one win in the first round on the regional scene. Because I remember doing my research. Yeah, so he's only got one win in the first round, and that was against Luis Gustavo Dutra, and that was 3 minutes and 15 seconds into the fight. So you're rarely gonna see Roman Kopylov go in there, burst through someone, immediately KO them. That's just not his style of fighting. He's a slow starter. He likes to build into fights. Like literally, look at his UFC wins: third round, second round, second round. This is I don't know. It's a weird thing he's got. I don't know if it's a mental thing or if he's just making his reads or because I don't know. As soon as that fight hits the second round with Roman Kopylov, he just turns into a fucking beast. Like it's crazy. I can't remember exactly what round he dropped Albert Duraev in, but I believe it was the second round. It just shows that once that fight hits the second and third rounds, this Roman Kopylov guy literally goes flow state on you. If your best shot at beating Roman Kopylov is to literally go in there and blast him in the first round while he's like having a slow start. Obviously, Carl Robeson, he, he got a submission in the third round, but this new version of Roman Kopylov is just he trains out of Dagestan now. Like he's just training and training. Same gym as Arman Petrosian, I believe. And yeah, he's just been training with all the Dagestani wrestlers over in Makachev. I butchered that right there. But yeah, I like this for Roman Kopylov that he's been training there. His takedown defense has looked really improved. And also at middleweight, you don't really have to worry about wrestling too much. No, there's not really any like high level grapplers. Now obviously there's Hamzat Chimaev now who is moved up to middleweight, so that might that's a fight that could give Roman Kopylov a lot of problems. But outside of that, like there's not really any big grapplers. I think you'd be able to stuff the takedowns from a lot of guys at middleweight. But I'm not just going to talk about him here because it's not a this isn't a one man dance. He has got Josh Fremd in front of him. Now for Josh Fremd, he won his last fight against Jamie Pickett. I don't rate Jamie Pickett too highly. You know, he's 13-10 now, and he's lost to every good guy he's fought pretty much. Like Jamie Pickett lost to Bo Nickel. Obviously, he got kneed in the groin, but Bo Nickel was going to win that fight anyway. It was pretty obvious. Dennis Tuyulian beat him in the second round. Dennis Tulin isn't the greatest fighter. He's a tough fighter though. He's a cool guy, got a cool voice. But then Kyle Dorcas literally subs him with the last second. Jamie Pickett did beat Laureano Strapoli, which is a really good win to have, but that was a really weird fight where Strapoli just sort of fought like Roman Dolidze, like the fight. So he fought Roman Dolidze, and then he fought before Roman Dolidze was like going in there and knocking everyone out, and putting Jack Hermanson in weird submission positions, and then beating the shit out of him and doing all this cool stuff. Roman Dolidze had a pretty boring style. He would just sort of hold you and try and lay and pray. And against Strapoli, he sort of just clinched him against the fence. And then Strapoli, trying to do his best Roman Dolidze impression, tried the exact same thing against Jamie Pickett, but the judges seen that fight for Jamie Pickett instead. And then Jamie Pickett, he got TKO'd by Jordan Wright, which Jordan Wright, all respect to the Beverly Hills Ninja, is the biggest can crusher was the biggest can crusher in the UFC. Like, he literally, to get to the UFC, he beat 1 and 2, 0 and 0, 0 and 10, 0 and 21, 0 and 0, 0 and 5, 0 and 0, 0 and 0. He beat Gabriel Chico 11 and 4, but that was his best win. And then he got chinned by Anthony Hernandez. Yeah, I know I'm just shitting on every. I know this isn't a Jamie Pickett fight prediction video, but I'm letting you know the level of competition that Josh Fremd beat. Jamie Pickett, don't rate him highly. Cedric Dumas, I don't know about Dumas. That's the weird thing. He looked good in all of his fights, but then he just looked really bad against Josh Fremd. It's the middleweight division. What can you do? Like, it is hard to predict how these things go sometimes. But he did get a good win against Mataj Penaz on the Dana White Contender Series. I think Dumas could actually probably make a run. I'm not saying he's going to go on and have a great run, but I could see him beating Abu Azaitar. He had that weird fight against Cody Brundage. So I guess we'll see how Dumas does, but I don't really rate the win too highly. But it was a good performance from Josh Fremd, don't get me wrong. Losing to Tresean Gore, though, I don't really like that for Josh Fremd. And Anthony Hernandez, nothing to be ashamed of there. Got brutally chinned by Gregory Rodriguez, but RoboCop is a badass. I love RoboCop. Like, RoboBama is just a fucking legend. He's powerful, but yeah, he brutally chinned Josh Fremd, and nothing to be ashamed of losing to Gregory Rodriguez. But I do think Roman Kopylov's going to chin him in that second round. Soon as that bell rings for that second round, just give it a minute or two, and Roman Kopylov is going to catch him. That's how I see that going. Also, a weird one. Josh Fremd has a split decision win over Darius Flowers, who's now a lightweight, who lost to Jake Matthews. Crazy how all these different weight divisions Darius Flowers fought in. Now he's a lightweight fighting Osman Azaitar. But yeah, you always see interesting stuff like that. I love going through Tapology pages. But yeah, going about the actual fight, I am a bit worried because obviously Roman Kopylov is good and he's on a nice win streak and he has improved. But I do worry a little bit here because of the takedowns from Josh Fremd. Fremd is a grappler. And, we did see Roman Kopylov got subbed by Kyle Roberson, which is scary when you think about it. Roberson, Roberson, to be fair though, Roberson, his record doesn't tell the whole story. He almost did chin Clover Teixeira, so it's not like he was horrible. He did fall off after that Kopylov loss, but are you going to really fault the guy for losing to Vittori, Brendan Allen, Khalil Roundtree, and Kennedy Nchikwi? They're not horrible losses to have. They're not bad losses at all to have, And he beat Wellington Turman. I think that was a controversial fight, though, if I'm remembering, but still, Turman's a good win. Jack Marshman beat Darren Stewart, beat Ryan Spann. So, I'm not going to hold that loss against Kyle Roberson too much against Roman Kopylov in hindsight. Robeson's not the greatest fighter, but it was a while ago, too. like, you're talking 4 years ago, and obviously that Albert Dariah fight was interesting. The referee really fucked over Roman Kopylov there. He essentially gave Dariah that takedown. Like, it was so funny. He stopped I think Kopylov went for like a fence grab, which he shouldn't have done. But then the referee put Dariah in like a stronger fucking grip of Roman Kopylov, and then he just fucking slammed Roman Kopylov. It was so funny watching it live. I think it was like 1 a.m. or some shit my time, and I'm just laughing my head off hysterically like a madman. But yeah, the Alexia Teixeira win's really good for Roman Kopylov. Teixeira beat Buckley. Arguably beat Kevin Holland. Puni Soriano is also a really good win. Claudio Ribeiro, I don't really rate highly, but I'd say he's around the same as Josh Fremd level. And yeah, I just think Roman Kopylov's going to stuff them takedowns, and he's going to put a striking clinic on Josh Fremd here. But I am a bit worried just because, yeah, like we say, it's middleweight. Weird stuff always happens in middleweight. Like, Roman Kopylov should win this fight, but in the middleweight division, nothing is certain. Like, generally, just flip a coin when it comes to middleweight, because I would not be surprised if Josh Fremd somehow gets the win here, but I really hope Kopylov wins. He's an entertaining fighter. I'd love to see Roman Kopylov mix it up with some of the top guys at middleweight. Like, I'd really love to see Roman Kopylov versus Michelle Olachechik. That would just be such a sick fight. Really good boxing exchanges. The forward pressure of Michelle Olachechik versus the technical Peter Yan type striking of Roman Kopylov would just be a sick fight. But I guess we'll see what happens here. I'm going with Roman Kopylov, second round TKO. I know this probably wasn't the in-depth breakdown people were expecting to see, but I'm hyped for this fight. Like, I'm really hyped, and I'm sure middleweight's gonna find a way to ruin this for me. But I guess we'll see what happens. But like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you. Oh yeah, put on the notifications too, of course.